Have you ever really, truly listened to the questions a child asks? We tend to brush them off as just simple curiosity. But what if they're more than that? What if buried inside those simple questions are the very seeds of philosophy? Well, today we're going to dive into the absolutely incredible ideas that pop up when you just give kids a little space to think. It's a pretty wild question when you think about it, right? Do we learn how to ask the big questions about life, or is that something we're just born with? An ability that maybe gets a little quieter as we grow up? We're about to look at some evidence that might just suggest we are all, in fact, natural-born philosophers. So what kicked this whole thing off? It wasn't some dense, heavy philosophical book or a university lecture. Nope. It was something way, way simpler. Just a little story about a bird, shown in a short animated film to a handful of kids. And the plot is so beautifully simple. There's no dialogue at all. It's all action and emotion. You've got this young girl, she's searching for her own lost animal, and she makes a mistake. She accidentally lets an old woman's pet bird fly away. And what happens next is this unexpected team-up as they both work together to try and make it right. So get this. After watching the film, a small group, just 6 children, all between 6 and 8 years old, were basically just asked to talk about it. No leading questions, no complicated instructions, just what did you think? And what they came up with, honestly, it's nothing short of amazing. So let's jump into the first big theme they grabbed onto. Right away, these kids went way beyond just saying what happened on screen. They started digging into some really complex human stuff: helping, guilt, and forgiveness. I mean, just think about forgiveness for a second. That's a huge abstract concept that adults struggle with their whole lives. It means you have to understand someone's intention, acknowledge you were hurt, and then make a real choice to move on. It is not a simple thing. And yet, look at this. One of the kids didn't just see 2 people looking for a bird. They saw them helping each other. They saw cooperation. And then they put a name to this incredibly complex social act. The aunt also forgives the girl. They saw right through the mistake to the resolution. Incredible. And you have to remember, concepts like responsibility, guilt, cooperation, nobody fed them these words. These are the big, heavy ideas the children pulled out of that simple story all on their own. That's a stunning level of perception. Okay, but they didn't stop at just social dynamics. Oh no. The simple act of a bird flying out of its cage, that sparked a whole new philosophical discussion about the meaning of freedom itself. This is just such a brilliant observation. The child isn't just saying what happened on screen, they're figuring out the motivation behind it. They see that empty cage not as a mistake, but as a deliberate choice. A choice to let the bird be free. That's the leap, right? From just seeing what happened to understanding why. They even got the flip side of freedom. Another child pointed out that in a huge open city, it's normal to get lost. They understood instinctively that with more freedom comes more risk. That's a remarkably deep understanding of a basic trade-off in life. All right, now this is where things took a really fascinating and kind of funny turn. They went from forgiveness and freedom to debating the pros and cons of being organized. And just like that, a debate started. On one side, you've got the classic argument for order. It is good to be organized every day. Makes sense. But then, on the other side, you get this powerful counterpoint that, let's be honest, we've all felt. Being organized is boring. This wasn't just an opinion. It was a philosophical stance on spontaneity versus structure. And the debate didn't just end with them stating their cases. It grew into these deep questions that challenge the very norms we all just kind of accept. This first one is fantastic. Is it bad to be disorganized? It's questioning the value judgment we automatically put on tidiness. And then they took it even one step further. Why do we have to be organized? See, this isn't about good or bad anymore. This is about necessity. They are questioning the fundamental rule itself. Why is this a thing we're all supposed to do? It's just pure, unfiltered philosophy. And that brings us to the absolute heart of the whole discussion. After talking about forgiveness and freedom and being tidy, they turned to one of the biggest questions of all. Why are humans helpful? What's the deal with altruism? So before even asking why we help, they first nailed the internal motivation. They took what they saw in the story and made it a universal human truth. Helping isn't just some chore. It comes with an emotional reward. When people help each other, they feel better. And from that one insight, the really big questions just started coming, one after the other. They started broad, at the macro level. Why do we bother helping society? Why do we contribute to something bigger than ourselves? Then they zoomed in, bringing it down to the personal level. Forget society for a second. Why do I help you? What's the core driver of that one-on-one human connection? And finally, this one. This question is just incredible because it challenges the entire social contract around gratitude. If helping makes us feel good, and it's this natural thing we do, is saying thank you actually required? Do we have to say thank you? Wow, they're literally deconstructing our most basic social rules.
So think about that. From one simple silent film, these kids built this intricate mind map of connected ideas. They jumped from guilt to forgiveness, from freedom to getting lost, from the value of being tidy to the fundamental reasons we help each other. It's just a powerful reminder that there's a whole universe of complex thought happening inside a child's mind.
And all of that really just leaves us with one final thought, a question that we have to turn back on ourselves. Listening to these children, you can't help but wonder, what are the big fundamental questions about the world that we used to ask so freely, but somehow, along the way, we've forgotten how? And what happens when we try to remember?